The fight for election integrity is about to heat up again, and there are a few things that we can do to be prepared. Ken Cuccinelli is the national chairman for the Election Transparency Initiative, and he joins me now to discuss. Ken, thanks for joining us. So, yeah, this election integrity, it sounds great, but we're also told by Democrats that it's racist, bigoted, and it's going to disenfranchise everyone who apparently isn't Nordic. So what are we going to be able to do? Although now I will say, and we'll talk about this coming up, James Clyburn is kind of turning his mind around on voter ID, which is huge. But do you think that we've learned anything from this last election, and what can we do to prevent massive screw-ups or at least get people to trust in the system going forward?
Well, we need to clean it up. I mean, what this last cycle showed is how sloppy, at least, the system is. And of course, there were a lot of last-minute changes made, which themselves are often being found to be illegal, and that caused all kinds of problems. So what you're seeing at the federal level, you see the radical leftists trying to take all of those bad changes and literally make them mandated under federal law and wipe out state control of elections. What you see going on state by state, at least in Republican states or states with Republican legislatures, are efforts to clean up and reform their election systems so that the problems we've seen in the past don't recur, which is exactly what we should be doing. States have been in charge of elections for 230 years, and there's no way to think that Washington's going to do better.
No, they absolutely won't. And I know that H.R. 1 was ultimately defeated, at least the entire behemoth, although it could be piecemeal, be reintroduced. But I just don't understand why there are some people, even though that they're Democrats, why they don't understand that you can't just alter the Constitution and the way that elections are run at the state level in that manner. I mean, there's no way that would even be allowed to stand a second after something like that were to pass, because of course I'm sure that it would be immediately litigated.
So there were significant parts of H.R. 1 that were clearly unconstitutional. I mean, even the ACLU had complained about parts of the bill as being unconstitutional. And, if you're a leftist and they're against you, you're not in a very good place. But look, what they're going to try to do in the second round is they're going to try to amend the already existing Voting Rights Act to try to sweep all of the states into what's called preclearance. And that means they have to get federal permission for every single change. And I was an attorney general in one of those states. I can tell you that means everything. Like if you want to move the polling place from the gymnasium of an elementary school to the cafeteria, you have to get federal permission. And it's that kind of control that they want to establish nationwide. So the second try is going to look a little different than the first, but the fundamental consistency is the takeover by federal bureaucrats of our elections.
Out of all of these bills, I know there was H.R. 1, there's the John Lewis Voting Act, I believe H.R. 4. What are you most concerned about coming from all of these attempts to try to centralize voting, which of course would absolutely make it easier for someone to hack the system, as we heard Democrats accuse back in 2016. But what are you most afraid of actually perhaps surviving the House and the Senate gauntlet and maybe making it up to Biden's desk?
Well, any element of the federal takeover, but to get it, they're going to have to either get 10 Republican senators or they're going to have to water down the filibuster. And if they water down the filibuster, all sorts of other dangerous things could happen. The packing of the court, that's actually a lost to the republic point in time if that were to happen. So, and the radical left does want to blow up the filibuster, and they intend to use this second voting bill that I expect to be introduced in the House probably about a little less than 2 weeks from now, the week of July 19th. They are going to put the pressure on the Joe Manchins, John Tester, Kristen Sinemas of the world in the Senate to break the filibuster to pass their federal takeover of elections bill. And so two terrible things would happen at once. We'd lose the filibuster protection of the minority, and with the sweeping in of elections that are seemingly designed to make it easy for the left to cheat, that we may truly be in a position where it's hard to count on elections as the place to fight our battles anymore. And if we
Wow.
ever reach that point, America's gone as we know it.